Hello Admirals and welcome back to my channel where I talk to you about Battlefleet Gothic, the space fleet game based in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. In my previous video, I talked about a little bit of background of the Turbidius sector and gave you some pointers on creating your own, and I had some really great feedback around that. People on Discord kind of messaged me and things like that, asking about those things, which was great. And that was kind of a lead-in video to then providing showcase videos on all the various fleets I have. So I think I'm in the region of about 40 odd fleets that live and breathe and fight their way in the Turbidius sector as part of the various different Battlefleet Gothic games I play, as well as setting a lot of my Warhammer one-page rules, campaigns and things like that in the sector as well. So I put up a poll on YouTube to see which of the fleets you Admirals would like to see first. I kind of wanted to go the traditional Chaos versus Imperials to kick it off, and Imperials won first. And I have a number of Imperial fleets, but I wanted to show you a specific one first, because it's easiest, I suppose, and that's my Imperial Ironclad fleet as part of the Turbidius fleet. So I, in my lore, as part of the Battlefleet Turbidius, which is my Imperial fleet, there are three sections of it. While it all looks kind of normal, there are three sections. The Protectorate fleet, the Reserve fleet, and the Ironclad fleet. And the differences are essentially three different colour prows: blue for the Protectorate, white for the Reserve, and red for the Ironclads. They all come under the same Imperial umbrella and things like that. Essentially, it was an excuse to be able to paint other things and add things in. But essentially, the Protectorate fleet kind of subscribes to the traditional lore and tactics of the current Imperial Navy. You know, battle cruisers, light cruisers, use of those torpedoes and things like that. Whereas the Reserve fleet is a fleet that I kind of wanted to put ships that didn't fall into that, but still wanted to paint them Imperial, like old escorts, like the Havoc class, or maybe a couple of old Chaos cruisers that are still in Imperial service, and Grand cruisers. And they're kind of the mothballed ships that don't apply for the main fleet and don't subscribe to those main tactics, but are still useful in guarding shipping lanes and stopping pirates and things like that, and a good location where new academy graduates can go to, right? And then I wanted to do a Voss Prow fleet. Now, in Armada, the Yellow Book, there was the Voss Prow, which is different to the standard Imperial Prow. And they made a battleship version, and they made escorts, the Falchions, and they did start making light cruisers. But these guys broke, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a bit. And so it kind of ended there, but I still wanted to do a Voss Prow fleet. So I did. And I called it the Ironclad fleet, and let's have a look at it now. So this is the first fleet showcase video I'm doing for these, and this is my Ironclad fleet as part of the Turbidius fleet. So like I said, I wanted to really do a Voss Prow fleet. And kind of my lore behind this, I'll start with that first and then go into a little bit of the ships. But the lore that I had for this was that the Turbidius sector is a large hub of supply work and providing various different supplies through to the Imperium, has really good stable warp routes. And even with the current lore, you know, it's on the right side of the Nihilists, so it's the right side of the Astronomicon. So it gives a lot of support to the war effort for the Imperium and provides men and materials and loads of different things. That was kind of, and has a huge market sort of vibe to it, essentially, especially in the central bit of the sector. So that was kind of my headcanon. And so then my thought was that it would be supplying with these trade routes through to the Imperium, or even all the way back to the Sol system, giving stuff and support. And back in the day, I was really keen on the Armageddon wars and things like that. So I wanted to say that they provided, you know, men and materials and potentially even ship supplies through to Armageddon and Voss for that war effort. And Voss is a big hub of a big Forge world and things like that as well. So Forge world, is it a Forge world? Anyway, it's a big world. And Voss has a direct then impact upon the Battlefleet Gothic because it produced different prows compared to the other
Imperial prows. So that is a normal Imperial prow. And you can see with this Apocalypse, it is different. It had the eagle prow and sort of more of a rounded sort of view to it. So I really wanted to do a fleet like this. In my lore, I indicated that because of so much supply of materials came from the Turbidius sector, Voss, as a gift, gifted supplies and things like that, and even ships with their prow to the Turbidius sector support. And then the idea was that these ships would be the hammer. So the Protectorate fleet, which is my blue prow fleet, which I have an example here. That's the traditional ones. They were going to hold the line. They'd be protecting the main. They'd be doing the main sort of work for the Imperial Navy, with the reserve fleet holding, potential shipping lanes that weren't as important. And then the Ironclad is, while that fleet is holding the line, this fleet smashes into things with their big gun. They are to break the line. So my initial lore with this was that they're all about lances and big heavy weapons batteries, using the Armageddon fleet list, basically, to try and use that. So that was kind of my main thought. The Ironclad fleet was there to use its big heavy weapons just to smash through things, using the Falcon escorts as an example of just hitting the line really hard with torpedoes and things like that. And so that was my lore, that this was where the really experienced admirals and captains went. They were supplied onto this ship, the good gunnery crews and things like that. They all went into the Ironclad fleet to be able to, and this would be the hammer, that if they needed to break a blockade or break through a fleet engagement and they identified a weak chain, this fleet would hit that hard with their lances, torpedoes, and weapons batteries. That was it. So they were supposed to be big guns, big and all that, led by the battleship, the Apocalypse battleship, His Will, with its mighty lances and its Nova cannon, and then backed up with an Armageddon class battlecruiser, and with then support from Gothic and Tyrants, and that was the idea behind it. So they would hit hard, and that's the lore behind it. Essentially, they are the gunboat side of things. Now, the thing with it, though, as well, is that I always really wanted to do a Voss prow fleet because of the Apocalypse battleship. It's one of my favourite battleships ever produced in the game. I absolutely love it. I think it is just a stunning, really cool ship. And so they made this, and with the view of making a whole fleet like this, basically. And they did make escorts. So these are the Falcon escorts, which this fleet has 10 of them in it. And these are torpedo ones with a little bit of weapons batteries on them as well. I really like the look of them. I think they're cool. And then GW did go and then make, these are two of my rarest ships. I've got another one somewhere. Where is it? There it is. In the entire BFG range. They're very, very difficult to get hold of. And these are the light cruisers, so made of Defiant and Endeavour here. Defiant? Someone can correct me if I got that wrong in the chat. These are two originals that were produced, and the molds were damaged, broken on them, so they never really produced them in their entirety. But I managed to get a couple of holds. As a collector, I can get hold of them, right? So that's two of them that were produced, and then they were going to do some cruisers, but unfortunately, like I said, because the molds were so, it's something to do with these connections in here, something like that. It wasn't stable enough. I'm sure a few people who were in and around that time will be able to comment on it as well. But there were going to be cruisers as well, so there were never cruisers made. So we just had the battleship and the escorts that we could gather, and then I was fortunate to get these. Now, in the community, though, someone went and produced two different versions. I think you can still get this one on eBay, but you can see the difference in the prow. But I wanted to add a couple more light cruisers into this to add that sort of weapons battery aspect to it. And then back in the day, on Shapeways before we had 3D printing or anything like that. I think it was Tempest Shipyards, who is back now, and you can get some of their work on the Purple site. I think it was. I could be wrong, but they produced these sorts of prows, which I just cut off the old prow. So this is an old prow, and that's the new one, and I stuck them on to create the Voss prow fleet. So like I said initially, so I made 4 cruisers with that, or 3 originally, and then I played a game with them and realized quite quickly that our complete gunline approach, while fun in the lore, won't particularly get you amazingly well results against a fleet that may have a lot of escorts or a lot of ordnance specifically. So I did kind of cave, and I did add in a dictator into it as well, just to give myself a little bit of ordnance, as well as converting one of the light cruisers as well to have a little bit of ordnance firepower as well. I mean, there's quite a bit with the torpedoes, but I just wanted those extra fighters and bombers. So yeah, this is the Voss prow fleet. I have to say that my favourite aspect of it is definitely having the 2 very rare ships in the collection. And these go into my display cabinet because I love them so much, and it's a shame that they never actually produced them. But of course, then the Apocalypse class ship, which is called His Will, I believe I named this ship. It actually has never died for me, which is unusual when you throw it into the mix and it gets hammered, but it hasn't never. Falcons, on the other hand, I've never been able to get them to work very well. I don't know why. I should be able to, but I've seemed to keep... They just die on me, so it's not good. But this is this is the start. I hope you like the Ironclad fleet, Admirals. I do have some extra Voss prows. I think I have 3 or 4 of them left, and I think my friend Gary, BFG Noob, gave me a couple of others as well that he had spare. So I might in the future do a couple more, just add in a couple of different other classes, maybe as it is a gunline kind of lore. I might try and add another battlecruiser in, and that would be the Overlord. I think would probably be cool to be put into this, and maybe is it the Mercury class, which has some lances? Is all lances maybe? I can't quite remember, but certainly no Jovians in this fleet. No extras. There won't be an Emperor added or anything like that. The Dictator's the only thing that's going to be in here from an ordnance perspective. So yeah, this is the Ironclad fleet. I hope you like it. It was another reason as well to paint a fleet a different colour as well, while also maintaining some of my original fleet colours, so they all have the same hull colour scheme to show the Battlefleet Tibidius, but then different designations with having the different prows. So that's the Voss prow fleet, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the fleet showcase. Let me know what other fleets you would like to see. I'll do up my Slaanesh fleet next, because that did have quite a lot of votes on it as well. But let me know what else you'd like to me to talk about in these sort of fleet showcases, Admirals, if you have any thoughts. This fleet, I tried to play it like my lore intended, throw it up the board and see what happens. But it would just play like any typical Imperial fleet, really. Keep it together, mutual benefit from supporting from turrets to torpedoes and things like that, all the while moving up, firing off some Nova cannons with the big boy. And I intentionally made this one also have a Nova cannon on it if I just wanted to run it as a Dominator instead of a Tyrant, for example. So there is more scope for Nova cannons. So it operates the same, mutual support, pick a target, hit it hard, and we're away. So yeah, that's the Ironclad fleet, everyone.
So there you have it, Admirals, the Ironclad Imperial Fleet, which has got the Voss prows. So a little bit of lore for you, a little bit of going through some of the ships, a little bit of the tactics, and then why I kind of did it the way I did it, I suppose. let me know what fleets you'd like to see, and some more information if in these fleets. There's going to be more Imperials, so if I miss anything in this video that you're interested in, let me know in the comments, because I can talk about it in the other Imperial fleets that I have. So don't stress about that. But if there's anything in you'd like me to talk about more about the actual ships themselves, or the conversions, or the paint schemes and things like that, yeah, let me know in the comments. I think in the future I won't do these every week or anything like that. I think this is going to be just an ongoing sporadic series that I hope you enjoy, with different fleets. I mean, you can see that's like 4 or 5 just floating around in here as it is. So there's a lot of videos that I could put out with the fleets. So if you have a specific one you would really like me to show on the channel and talk about, let me know in the comments, Admirals. And if you have any ideas on new fleets that not seen before, I've got 3 in the cannon at the moment ready to go, let me know. Always happy to hear. But until the next video, thanks very much, Admirals, and I'll see you again soon.